Good afternoon, Hattiesburg. Thanks for joining us for this COVID-19 and City News briefing for Friday, August 14th. We'll start with today's testing numbers. These are all of our healthcare organizations: Forest General, Merit Health Wesley, Hattiesburg Clinic, SEMRI, and the Moffitt Health Center at USM. As of this morning, 45,318 tests have been conducted. 5,256 have come back positive. We have 769 tests that are pending currently. Right now in the hospital, we have 103 patients who are positive for COVID. That's 16 over where we've been for the last 2 weeks, and obviously we've kind of hit some uncharted territory now, getting over 100 for the first time in terms of hospitalizations. In the ICU, of those 103, 37, that's just above where we've been for the last 14 days. As you can see, as in this next chart, we've kind of been on the rise. We had a small dip in hospitalizations. That number has continued to go up this week, and so I think there's some big conclusion we need to draw. Is that, first of all, 103 is the highest number of COVID positive patients in the hospital since this pandemic began. Of those hospitalizations, we wanted to take a look and see, are all those coming from Forest and Lamar counties? Is it more of a regional effect? And so of the 103 right now, and again, this is both our hospitals, Merit Health Wesley and Forest General, 28 of those are from Forest County. 12 of those are from Lamar. We have both 9 from also 12 from Jones, 9 from Marion, 8 from Pearl River. And so roughly 40% of our hospitalizations are coming from our own metro area, but 60% are coming from the outlying areas that feed into Hattiesburg to access our healthcare system. And this goes back to that sort of that conversation we've been having about it may not be Forest and Lamar counties that overrun the healthcare system. And look, 40 is certainly high, but we know that Hattiesburg is the center of healthcare in this region, and so we have to keep an eye on both our folks that are feeding into this and also the surrounding areas that are going to come here as well. Right now, we heard today that we had 2 new deaths today, following 1 yesterday, so 3 since our last briefing, taking the death total in Lamar County to 18 and Forest County to 57. We certainly send our thoughts and condolences to those families. Statewide today, we had 944 new cases and 32 new deaths. Locally, Forest County added 24 new cases today. Lamar County added 19. It's been kind of a weird week. We saw on Tuesday single-digit numbers, and then Wednesday was kind of a big day, and yesterday was single-digit again, and today back up. So 43 today, new cases. Census began, Forest County's had 1,889 recorded cases. Lamar County, 1,265. Metro area total was at 3,154. Our 5-day average, though, continues to sort of drop. 5-day average, where we take the number of new positive cases on a given day, we average it with 2 days prior and 2 days after. And so we want to see this trend continue to decrease, because that will also affect our inside 14-day number. The inside 14-day number are the number of people who have received their positive test results in the last 14 days. And because this disease typically has a life cycle of 14 days or fewer unless there is a reaction to it, the inside 14-day number is kind of an indicator on how many active cases you could have in your community. Certainly not a perfect number, but it gives you an idea of kind of where the infection rates are. In Forest County right now, the number's at 325. That's where it was yesterday. Lamar County at 195. It was a little bit lower than that yesterday, but this is kind of where we are still seeing decreases. We want to see that continue to go down. This is kind of where we were a week ago, and you can kind of see the progress we've made in just a week. 1 week ago, we were at 405. Inside 14-day, that number is now at 325, so a decrease of 80, a good sign. Lamar County, 291 to 195, almost a decrease of 100, also a good sign. The problem we're seeing, though, is this decrease in inside 14-day is not translating into a decrease in hospitalizations. And well, again, only 40% of those in the hospital are coming from our own area. It goes back to that idea that we cannot overrun the healthcare system, and that's one of our 3 goals. Protecting the vulnerable, people over the age of 60, people with underlying or chronic health conditions. And if we can do number 1, we can do number 2, which is prevent overrun of the healthcare system by slowing the spread. Typically, it's those people that are at risk who will end up in the hospital or in the ICU. If we can do 1 and 2, we can continue prioritizing public health while continuing to let the private sector operate creatively. Governor Reeves today, speaking to the private sector, extended all of his executive orders another 2 weeks until August 31st. That includes the statewide mask mandate. He did add one component. We know that schools are starting back this week and next week, and so extracurriculars will kick off as well. And so he did limit spectators to 2 per participant, and there has to be a safety officer that's there at the event to ensure compliance with that. And so we will see how this affects football season and other things, but this goes on till August 31st. With that in mind, we're extending all of our local executive orders until August 31st as well. This includes the mask mandate. This includes the distancing requirements, the capacity limits. It also includes the 10 p.m. closure for restaurants, bars, and other things. A lot of the progress we're seeing, a lot of people are to thank, but mainly you for making good decisions. But the interventions that we make, whether it's an executive order or whether it's the Mask Up Hattiesburg campaign, it does take a week or two, sometimes 3, to see the benefit and the effect of that. But we hope that if we go to August 31st, that inside 14-day number will come down, as well as that hospitalization, which is kind of what we really want to see happen. Some non-COVID city news to end the week. Yesterday, we announced a $1.8 million grant from the Federal Transit Administration. This will go to increase pedestrian access in terms of sidewalks and signaling and crosswalks around bus stops. Of course, Hub City Transit hit 100,000 in ridership annually for each of the last 2 years. And so to increase that further in 8 different areas of our city, in wards 1, 2, 4, and 5, is going to be a great benefit to not only Hub City Transit, the people who use it, but also those neighborhoods around the bus stops. One other piece of city news is we really need you, if you have not already, to fill out your census form. We're still in the low 50% as a city. This will have consequences for us in terms of funding, in terms of how we look to potential markets and restaurants and businesses who might come here, and to industrial employers. That has an effect on that. So if you have not filled out your census form, go to HattiesburgCounts.com, click the first link, you can do that. And if you work somewhere, ask your coworkers, have you filled out your census form? It's very important, especially in a year where the enumerators, the people that walk around and knock on doors, have not been able to get out as much as they usually do. It's very important that we get this done before the end of September when the census closes out. And finally, our act of courage. We started the Mask Up Hattiesburg campaign several weeks ago, and we want to thank our business partners who have taken this on, who have provided testimonials, who have shot videos in support of Mask Up Hattiesburg, who put yard signs out in front of their businesses. So to Coke and Fika and Fairley's Wings, and all of our partners who are there, Lavish in Midtown, and so many others who have done these things to put their influence on this Mask Up campaign. We appreciate it because it's making, we believe, a real difference, and you can see that in the inside 14-day numbers. And we believe it will continue to make a difference if we all do our part. So as we go into the weekend, remember to wash your hands, take care of yourself. Please wear a mask if you go out in public. Do only what is essential, and remember, you're safer at home. Have a great weekend.